party people in the house. Okay, party people in the house. Okay.
Hi, I'm Koke. I DJ from McKinley Park, south side of Chicago. Raised there my whole life, per se. Born in Kansas, but my parents moved here when I was young. Koke's been a childhood nickname since as long as I can remember. I remember being like 4 or 5 years old. My cousins, Koke, let's go do this, let's go to the pools. But yeah, it just kind of naturally stuck, and I always wanted something that was authentic, and for sure, I always fell in love with it. Ever since somebody told me, like, gotta pick a DJ name. I'm like, well, what gets more authentic than a childhood nickname? It's a personal small situation. I actually was not gonna enter it, but a friend of mine, close friend of mine, he's suffering a life illness, and basically what I know, there were 2 VIP passes that were available to the winner, and my goal was like, hey, if I could win, because I know he loves house music, would definitely give one to him if he could make it out. And I didn't think I was gonna win, but nevertheless, here I am. Professionally, I guess I would say probably about 2 years now, but like on and off, probably about 4 or 5 years now. I'm a big hip hop head. Definitely like Tupac, the Big Pun, that whole 90s era of hip hop. I really fell in love with it. But I remember going to my first house party when I was like 14, and just somebody was playing house music. I was like, what is this? And then next thing you know, you start jumping into like Daft Punk, and then from there you trickle down into the Chicago house, and then pretty much work your way around that. On everything that I'm gonna play, I always try running it in my head first, and then I'll pretty much lay it down. The way I prepare is I like to write tracks also down via on my phone or like a laptop or with a pen and paper, anything that I have, just to get my ideas down. And then slowly, when I'm messing with the songs in order, I'll play with them, I'll loop them, I'll do what I have to do. And then at that point, I start dissecting what I do like, what I don't like, et cetera, and then just build from there. I haven't really had too many, but I would say when you show up to a gig and they say that the equipment works and it doesn't work, and you're like struggling, like, oh, do I have to have something in my car? Can I go running and get it? Or yeah, just other than that, everything has been great so far. Can't complain. To me, being authentic has definitely been everything. So I feel like if you're going to be making something, it has to represent you to a certain aspect. You can't fake the funk, and but with that being said, I feel like people are going to know if you are. And for me, it's always been, hey, I like this because, you know, like it moves my body, or it moves my soul, or it makes me want to dance. But that's always been my process in terms of what I look for or what I want to create, etc. You have to respect the originals, because without the originals, remixes or edits or bootlegs, none of those would exist. There's a reason the originals are called the originals, because they originate. They're rooted from the remix itself. Basically, the way I see it is you have to just pay them proper respect, because when the artists who remixed a certain track, when they heard that original track, it inspired them to go ahead and do something. It made them want to get up and like, hey, I like what they did here, but let me put my flavor on it. Let me put my touch of funk on it. And you have to respect the original. House music right now is amazing. It's grown to a global movement, which is great. And then for me to win the competition, it just means that I get an opportunity to put my stamp on it, to be part of this movement, even if it's just like on a local scale per se. For me, I definitely love it. It's wonderful. The cool thing about music, and especially house music, is we all have cultural barriers or language barriers, but we can all vibe to the 4 on the floor. We can all vibe to the exact same song, which is great. Which is definitely a great way to like break down barriers and communicate with another person who we may not know what they're saying in terms of their language, and vice versa. But we can all relate to this one song that makes us all move at the same time. Right now, I'm listening to. I listen to everything. One day I'll be listening to like Bob Marley. The next day it could be Tony Bennett. The next day it'll be like some 41 or Queen or some Carl Cox or some Jamie Jones or Martinez Brothers. But it's always different with me. I'll even go into country music, but that's just the way I am. Right now in particular, nothing too much is catching my attention, but I'm always keeping an eye out and an ear out for like anything new, anything fresh, and anything that I know that my body's moving to, or it just catches my attention. I'm always there. My go-to equipment right now is two Audio-Technica turntables and Pioneer S9. Definitely something different. I want to bring something. That I can put my funk on, my flavor. Definitely something that's gonna get people excited, whether it's tracks they've already known but with a different style to it, or just something brand new that they've never heard, that they want to Shazam it, that they want to know where that track came from. I wanna introduce something to a lot of people that they've probably never heard, and that's my job, is to take you on that journey, introduce you to classics, but also make sure that the new song that you heard, you're going to want to know where it's coming from. All for every music via SoundCloud or Mixcloud or even social medias, just Koke, Koke, CEE. Know your music and work super hard. You have to put in the work. You have to know what you're messing with. You could only wing it for so much, but people are going to catch on. So definitely know your music, and yeah, that's pretty much it. The cool thing about McKinley, man, honestly, is growing up, it was very, how the 80s were, like 80s and 90s were for hip hop in New York. I would say that's what growing up in McKinley kind of felt like, because I remember the people in the neighborhood that would break dance. They would bring out like their cardboards and then they would break dance in the middle of the block, or even just people doing like graffiti, like you knew on the block, like, oh, this person's doing this. Just knowing all that, which now has made me who I am, because I have a love for all that culture. I mean, it's made me who I am today. So, I mean, that's how I can pretty much say it. Yeah. Honestly, in my opinion, I think it's good if DJs have a variety, but I mean, to each his own, and you gotta respect where everybody's coming from. For me, it's just certain sounds just catch my attention. But at the end of the day, to each his own. For me, I mean, I think it'd be kind of cool if everybody had something in their crates ready to just come out and to be able to play at any event if possible. For Chicago, an example, like being in Pilsen, you know, you can get away with like hip hop, reggaeton, some dance hall, house for sure. But then if like, oh, I need you to go to Wrigley, it's totally different, or River North, it's like, hey, we're talking about a totally different style at that point, whether you got to bring pop out or just like some of the latest hits, top 40, some of the reggaeton for sure, some of the hip hop gets you through. But I just feel like, especially being in Chicago, like you have to be able to have anything in your crates, depending on where the gig is, but that's just my opinion. This is Koke. I'm looking forward to killing it at my house music festival right here in Harrison Park. I'll be there August 11th from 12 to 1, opening up for some of the greats. Come out and see me. Thanks.